to edition 14 of All Killa, No Filla podcast with me, Rachel Fairburn, and Kiri, Pritchard, McLean. Before we start, we'll do our usual disclaimer. We like to chat about serial killers. We're interested in them. We're interested in the background and history of them and what's happened to them now. We're not doing this to take the mickey out of anyone that's been affected by a serial killer. And as long as we're doing this podcast, it stops us from writing to them in prison.
Episode 14.
Yeah, 14.
Yes. This one is he's got one of the best nicknames.
Yeah, Metal Fang.
Metal Fang, which is totally badass. And he does actually, if you Google him, he kind of looks like a Bond villain anyway. He's all high cheekbones and smouldering eyes.
Suave yet scary.
Yeah, absolutely. He had white metal teeth because his teeth had to be replaced, so he was given the name of Metal Fang, which is what we shall call him. What's his actual name, Rachel?
Nikolai Dzhumagaliev.
So that's why we're calling him Metal Fang.
I'm very good at pronunciation.
It is good. It is good.
I'm very pleased.
But I can't do it. So just like I say...
So, because Kiri can't do it, but I call him Metal Fang. Well,
it's like when people call her Malala. And it's not because they're good friends with her, it's because they can't say a surname and they don't want to look racist.
What is her surname?
Yusuf... I don't know.
Racist.
I should have Googled it. What can I say? I hate her and everything she stands for. I don't. Obviously, I think it's brilliant that she won a Peace Prize. Anyway, so I'm going to call him either Nikolai or Metal Fang because I can say
Fang.
him.
We'll stick to Metal Fang.
He's a Kazakhstani serial killer.
Yeah.
Second most famous man to come from Kazakhstan
after Borat.
I've
never seen Borat either, so I don't.
It's basically like, hello, my stupid foreign man, let's all laugh at that. Let's be homophobic, but it's okay when it's coming from someone else.
Why have I never seen this? This sounds like my kind of thing.
He's the second most famous Kazakhstani, and arguably he's the second least offensive Kazakhstani as well. So he's quite a handsome fella. He was sort of introverted growing up, but not a loner. I think you would be introverted if you had a head full of rotten teeth.
Well, yeah, he got most of his teeth knocked out as a child, apparently.
Right.
Not by whom, we don't know. Because this is one of those things.
He did have loads of sisters.
He did have loads of sisters. Born the 15th of November 1952.
This is a mad thing about it. He's quite a contemporary one. But because it all happened in like the Soviet era, it's so hard to find information because they're like, it never happened.
I don't know who you speak of. It's
mad. It's been really hard to find out stuff about him. But yeah, basically he was the only boy, all sisters, which is something that my father uses as code for a homosexual. But he was quite good with the ladies, wasn't he?
He was. There was no problems in his upbringing. There was no problems with his family. Apparently his parents were both normal people.
Yeah.
He got on with people, he had no problems with women to start with.
To start with. Well, yeah, because he was, his mum was Belarusian and his father was Kazakhstani. So yeah, it all seems kind of, usually they're quick to point out if they have a fucked up childhood and it's just not mentioned at all. But around this time, I remember when I read about Chikatilo, who's knocking around in the Soviet about this time, that they were very hungry and things were pretty shit over there. Because I remember reading this really chilling thing about how, as a kid, they were told to avoid healthy-looking men, because if a healthy-looking man means that they turn to cannibalism. So the kids were like, if you see someone healthy, run away, because they would catch kids and eat them.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's not like generally, it's not a nice time to be growing up in.
No.
And also, the kind of environment was that they treated women really fucking badly.
Yeah.
So, although he didn't have any problems with women, generally the country did. So.
Yes.
So he went to school, and then in the 9th grade, he went to something called a railway school.
I don't know what that is.
I've got no idea. It's full of autistic people making those, miniature railway sets.
Can I just say, if you know anyone who is a model railway enthusiast, don't ever call the model railway a train set like I did once to a bloke that I worked with. I said, what are you doing tonight? You're going to go and play with your train set. It's a model railway. He was never the same with me after that.
That's like graphic novel and comics, isn't it?
Yeah.
They act like you've just said, your mum's a bit of a slut, isn't she?
I beg your pardon. So he went to railway school.
I think it just sounds like one of those things where they probably send not very bright kids to get in a vocational. It's basically like a sixth form college.
Yeah, you go to a railway school. I have to say I do really enjoy doing the generic Eastern European
It
accent.
is good.
Yes, I like to do it. It is slightly better than those meerkats on the television. I really do it. Like I've worked with people from Eastern Europe, like Czech Republic, places like that, and it's always weird because I always find when we do an Eastern European impression that we always do it really offensively, even when the person you know from that area has incredibly good English, like my friend. You'll talk to her and you'll say, "Oh, what are you doing at the weekend?" And she'll say, "Yes, I am going to take my children to the park. I'm going to do this." And you go, "Oh, great." But when you relate what she said, you go, "Yes, I take my children to the park. We have fun, yes?" It's just so... I'm embarrassed with myself. Embarrassed. It's also the accent that I use for football manager impressions.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because it's my generic foreigner impression. Like, "Yes, my name is Dzhumagaliev. I have managed this team of murder for many years now. 9 killings, and next season maybe we'll be back at the top of the murder league. We will see." Thank you for your time. It's also my Jose Mourinho impression.
It's very good.
And I don't know why, because it doesn't sound anything like him.
Well, it's sort of interchangeable. It's all not from here, isn't it?
Well, he's from somewhere different. That'll do.
He's to be feared and ridiculed. So it's weird that there's very little information on Nikolai, but one of the things that they all tell you is that he banged someone for the first time when he was 18.
Yeah.
And I found out in the most bizarre way, because when we do these podcasts, we look up loads of different websites, we watch documentaries, do all sorts, read books, and I was watching a documentary because there's not a lot on him, and you get these weird people like us, who like serial killers. They sort of made their own video about him where they would put up facts and they'd have pictures in the background. So what they went with is Nikolai lost his virginity when he was 18 years old. Great, good fact there. But in the background of that, the image that they've chosen to pair it with is a dog fucking another dog, and over the point where the dog's penis inserts into the other dog, they've got like a star that spins out with a fact about him, saying like, "And then he caught syphilis." That is almost more bizarre than his rapings, killings, and cannibalisms to me.
Can I just ask, did you watch that and remember the fact?
I did,
right.
So there we go.
Job done.
Maybe we can get onto the education secretary and be like, "Don't make him do the times tables. Just put a picture of a dog fucking in the background and you'd be surprised how much that information sticks." So, yeah, he got syphilis quite soon after.
He did.
To me, that's like it's what happens, isn't it?
Well, that's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
For some people, not me. For some people. Then he joined the army in 1970.
If you're playing along to serial killer bingo, I think joining the army is time to finish your drink there.
Definitely. And this is where possibly he came into contact with people that really did treat women appallingly. Because back in those times, the army wasn't the most...
it's not the progressive force that it is now.
Oh, no!
They love women and gays, don't they? Especially over there. Well, this is... To me, I think... You're a bit more on the fence about it than me. I categorically think that he started killing after he left the army. Because what happened was he sort of drifted. He just went round the Soviet Union. If he was an electrician for a bit, he drove a bulldozer. He was a firefighter. I don't trust him with a fucking hose. And an axe.
Well, I think if somebody's going to start being transient and swanning round everywhere with no real purpose, it is a classic breeding ground for somebody who's having these strange thoughts to, like, "Oh, I'll be a firefighter here. Oh, but I've killed that woman. Oh, I'll just go over there and do this." Yeah.
So I think he started killing a lot sooner.
Yeah.
And added to my suspicion of this, and my general suspicion of the police, which I don't know if you know, it has come over on this podcast.
You don't mention it.
I barely mention it, do I? Is that the Soviet cover up loads of shit. Like, you'll find that out during this, that they we'll tell you later, but basically they cover shit up. It's a conspiracy theory, which is why I'm wearing this tinfoil hat. And keep their thoughts out. But his MO was basically he would lure women away to the woods. He'd rape them and then he'd cut them up with an axe, and in many cases he would take meat from them and eat them.
Yep.
And his first murder was in 1979.
1979. He planned it very intricately by all accounts, so he says. He followed a peasant woman back from church and he attacked her, cut her throat, at which point, what would they called it? the bus factory.
Oh yeah, the bus
It's really
factory.
badly translated.
It's really badly translated from whatever it would be Kazakhstani. So it's like, bus factory came past, and I think they mean everyone on the bus home from the factory drove past them.
They drove past, so he hid, and while he was hiding, because it was very cold, he warmed his hands on her dead body. What a legend.
Oh, it's so creepy. Because he says, like, he loved to hunt, and then when he's talking about this first one, he went, yeah, no, I love to hunt, and then one day I saw a woman, and it's like, no, don't say that like that's a transition.
Yeah, the first time I hunted a woman.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I love Connect 4. I remember the first day I played Russia Roulette with a group of school children. So bizarre.
It's not a natural progression.
No. And then he followed her, she heard his footsteps, which, like, I always think about, like, how awful that must be, just walking, like, and then suddenly hearing footsteps, and you must be like, right, well, I'm fucked now.
Well, I have to find out which one it was. There is a serial killer, and I can't remember off the top of my head which one, because I've got a lot of stuff going on in there. He used to get women's shoes in his size, and he'd follow women on their own, but because he had high heels on, they'd think it was a woman.
I think I could tell by the way they walked
that
it was a man, like, clunk, 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 clunk.
Either that or Kiri could tell her.
That's ingenious.
Yeah, not bad. I'll find out which one it is for the next episode.
He cut her throat, warmed his hand on the body, and then he started to... Well, you can tell them what they did.
Then he starts going all Gordon Ramsay on it. Because he cuts her breasts into strips. Goujons. Very big in that area of the world, I believe. He removed her ovaries, which he pickled her over. He took all this meat home, so he cut her kidneys, a heart out, various other bits, wrapped them up in his rucksack and took them home.
Yeah, some of it he pickled,
Some of it he pickled.
Which is awful, pickled ovary.
Oh.
I think they sell that in pubs in Salford. What's that floating next to the egg? Never you mind.
Just someone nods at the bar staff. I know what you want. He twice grilled the heart and the kidneys.
He said it was horrible.
Yeah, he said it was tough.
Overcooked?
Twice grilled.
Come on, mate.
And it took him a month to eat all the meat that
he minced some of it up as well and made dumplings out of it. At least he was being creative with it, you know, because sometimes they just do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But he also said it was horrible, and that's a common theme, isn't it?
Yeah.
Albert Fisher's the only one who said that he really liked it and found it sweet, but most people just say it's horrible.
Dharma didn't like it, did he? He said a bit of it was awful. I found Albert Fish, though, would have just been contrary about everything.
Yeah.
Like, if I'd have said, hey, Albert, I really like eating kids, he'd have gone, well, I don't like it anymore.
He's the kind of person who goes, the Beatles are overrated. And like, well, obviously they are, but they're still good, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, he was a bit like that, Albert. Not that I knew him personally. I wasn't born. So, this was his first murder in 1979. But in 1979, so this was January, he committed 6 more murders.
And there's no way he's gone from doing to doing, like, none, to doing fucking loads.
Yeah,
it's just not happened. He's been doing it before, definitely.
It's just what he's been prepared to admit to,
yeah,
I think.
Because he was only ever charged for 7 in the end.
Yeah. And I think, as well, one thing that we do notice about this, you've got nothing about any of the victims.
Yeah.
Which, I always like to mention the victims by name and, you know, give a bit of a background to them, but there's absolutely nothing. There's no names, there's no...
They're just a woman.
It's just, he killed this woman, then this other woman. All anonymous women that we don't know anything about, who have just been murdered by him, and it's like everything's just been kept.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? And part of me thinks that, like, it's that thing that does rear its head over and over again, where it's like, well, if it's a peasant woman, it's just take a number. Whereas if he killed someone, like, you know, like from a posh person, basically, everyone would know everything about them, and it would be a tragedy.
Yeah.
He shot someone as well. He shot his mate.
Yeah, on the 21st of August. Which always makes me think, 21st of August, that'd be like you'd be at the Edinburgh Festival, it'd be coming to the end, you're in a drunken stupor. I reckon I could accidentally shoot somebody.
Yeah, maybe it was his
on the 21st of August, yeah. He's in a drunken stupor, accidentally. But...
rumour has it...
it's not an accident.
They had witnessed one of his murders, and he shot his mate.
Yeah.
So he got arrested for that.
Mm-hmm.
The police caught him for that, and then they diagnosed him with schizophrenia.
Yeah.
So said that he wasn't culpable.
So he was kept in, was it, how long was it?
Not very long.
Not long. A matter of months, I think.
Yeah. And
he returned to Uzonagach, wherever that is.
Well, that's not
Don't know
bad,
I pronounced it Welsh.
Yeah, do you know what? Well, I always think when you hear people... when my other half, whose English, comes to Wales, he thinks that everyone's speaking like Polish and stuff, so apparently they sound similar.
Then he committed 3 more murders.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you let these fuckers go.
Yeah.
And how he kind of got caught is quite I was about to say a nice story.
It's a lovely story.
Because the rumour has it, right, he used to like chop up these women and take bits of them. Apparently he used to throw dinner parties where there was on one website it says he used to make ethnic food. But I don't know if that's in the way that, like how curries come from the fact that they used to use lots of spices to try and cover the fact that it's hot and it's hard to keep meat from going off and things like that. And it also, helps stop the meat going off. That he's like, I'm going to chuck a load of spice in there to cover the fact that it's a fucking woman's tit that you're eating. Is this a nipple? No, it's a raisin. Keep going.
It sounds utterly disgusting. Ethnic, so vague as well. Ethnic food, isn't it? Ethnic's
such a loaded term, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, no one who's ever been nice ever uses the word ethnic.
Ethnic food. They made us some ethnic food.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he used to have these dinner parties, and apparently one night he invited these 2 drunks over and said, I'm going to cook for you.
As you do.
And while he was sort of milling about, they went in the fridge and there was a head and some intestines in there. So they freaked out, rightly so, and called the police. And then the police came over to arrest him, and they found him sort of crouched down, covered in blood, naked, with a hatchet.
I like to imagine him screaming as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And which sounds like a kind of stripper you can order for a hen party. But like, do you want the policeman or do you want the naked man with a hatchet covered in blood?
Oh yes, please.
Or you can have a fat one for a $5 or more. That does happen, roly polies, and you pay more for them.
Do you?
Yeah, I went to a terrible 30th on the Wirral or somewhere like that. Kirby, I think it was, in Liverpool. And it was this guy who was a squaddy, and his squaddy mates had bought him. They thought it was a roly-poly, but she was out that night. So they sent them this beautiful Swedish model instead, and it all kicked off because her girlfriend was oh my God, it was the worst thing. They went... The girlfriend stormed out because she was doing getting this guy to do press-ups on her while she was naked, right? Poor beautiful girl doing her job, basically. The girlfriend storms out, and then one of his squaddy mates runs up to the DJ booth, snatches the mic and goes, "Will the stripper please get off the stage?" and cut the music. So watching her pick up her knickers and bra next to a buffet that's still cling filmed in Widnes was the fucking saddest thing I've ever seen.
God. Poor woman.
That's what I feel like when a gig goes bad and you've got to go, well, thanks very much for having me, and then just walk off to the sound of your own feet.
Oh, when you walk off and it's been awful and you realise you've left your drink on the stage. That's my worst one. There's still a bit of me left on stage.
Exactly, yeah. Everyone's looking at that bottle of water going, God, she was shit, wasn't she? So, anyway, back to all the murders. The policeman arrived, but they let him escape.
Yep. They let him go because they were so shocked. Oh, God. Oh,
I'm just going to have a lie down.
Oh, God, I'm so overwhelmed. I can't take this. Oh, this uniform was clean on. I'm not touching him. So he legged it. Naked. With a hatchet. Right?
Covered in blood. And then apparently they found him a few days later at his cousin's house. I don't know how he explained that to his cousin either. Rocking up and he'd be like, what's happened to you? Oh, it's a stag night, innit? You know what it's like. You should see the state of Barry.
Or maybe I used to work with a bloke who his excuse for everything was if he was late for work or something, he just used to say, something really bad happened. Nobody ever used to question him. Maybe he just wrote something, something really bad happened. Oh, okay, no worries. Nobody questions you.
That's good. Another good one is childcare issues.
Because
it's quite vague. I remember when I worked for an agency and someone couldn't go for an audition, they were really pushing. I said, it was Phil Ellis, he hasn't got any kids. They was like, I'm sorry, he's got childcare issues. And no one wants to go, what's wrong with his kids?
Yeah.
So,
okay, no problem.
The thing that's wrong with his kids is that they don't exist.
His imaginary children are having a really rough time at the moment. And his imaginary wife has left him too.
So they caught him at his cousin's house, and then they took ages to take him to trial.
So they caught him on the 19th of December 1980. And the trial was on the 3rd of December 1981. Now, you would think that with all this time, we would have more information about him.
Nope.
No, nothing.
Soviets like to keep it to themselves.
Yep.
So he was... he basically said during the trial that he wanted to rid the world of prostitutes. Although it doesn't sound like he's actually killed any prostitutes. Because some of them used to break into their homes, and 2 of the women...
Yeah, it says twice he broke into houses, killing 3 women. And then at least 2 women were killed in his house.
And that peasant woman, yeah.
She was just a woman going about her business.
Going from church.
Of all places. So yeah, it's just talking crap, basically.
And it's always these people, it's always people who are diagnosed with schizophrenia and syphilis who go, yeah, no, I should rid the world of prostitutes. Like, well, I don't think you're any barometer of taste, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
If Stephen Fry said it, then I'd be like, all right, he makes a lot of sense. If Owen Jones...
got a strong argument.
He's very eloquent, isn't he? So they found him to be insane and they sent him to Tashkent Mental Institute.
For 8 years, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then they had to move him. And while they moved him, he escaped.
But this was in 1989. The thing is, they didn't warn people, didn't warn the public that he had escaped. They didn't say anything.
No.
They just kept their mouths shut for 2 years.
They said that they didn't want to alarm the public, but there's a man who's definitely killed and will definitely kill again. Don't keep it to your fucking selves. It's not Secret Santa.
And if he didn't kill while he was out, I will eat my hat.
Yeah, well, apparently there was loads of sightings of him in Moscow. Everyone's like, sure, that serial killer tried to get me to go home with him last night. And they're like, no, nothing to see it. Where did you see him, though, just out of interest?
Yeah, where was this? And you say metal teeth. Oh well, God. No, it's definitely not him, madam. But it was in Moscow, wasn't it?
Yeah, for 2 years. And then eventually some woman was like, this guy tried to get me to go into the woods with him last night. And I'm sure it was that serial killer. So they found him in 1991.
And he's back in the mental institution.
Well, this is a funny thing, isn't
it?
Some websites say they let him out. They let him out again. They caught him and they let him out again. And some of them are like, no, don't worry, he's in an institute. But to be honest, the police and the Soviets don't have like a great reputation when it comes to telling the truth.
But it's just so conflicting, isn't it? Some people are like, yeah, he's out. No, he's like a human hokey-cokey, isn't it? We just don't know. We don't know.
And that's the worst thing about him.
That is the worst thing about him. But I imagine that, because people are like, he's out, he could be anywhere. He's a free man now. He's responded to treatment and now he's better, which I would doubt very much. But it'd be interesting, because you're going to recognise him unless he had his teeth done.
Well, no, you got, oh God, I wonder if they rust. I've only just thought about that.
What kind of metal?
Yeah. Oh, that's horrible. When you get a nosebleed, you can taste pennies. What if you taste that? That would be enough to make me kill women. Ooh. If I could had a horrible taste in my mouth all the time. And also, sometimes when you bite tinfoil, it goes through you if you've got fillings.
Oh, that's my
maybe that is driving him mad. It's not schizophrenia. He's had shitty dentists.
Just like a dog with a collar that's just slightly too tight, being aggressive.
So I've got a feeling that he's out. I think he's out. I don't think they would say if he was. It's not like Kazakhstan has a brilliant reputation to trade on anyway.
Well, if they're not going to mention when he's escaped, why would they mention when he's been released?
Yeah. Also, I think they definitely lied because I think psychologists and stuff have looked at it and they actually think that he killed somewhere between 50 and 100. But he was only ever prosecuted for these 7 very brutal murders. So basically, I think it's sort of a secret cover-up, as in, nothing to see here, guys.
Apart from these metal teeth.
And those beautiful cheekbones.
Very, very nice cheekbones.
I think he's one of the most attractive ones we've spoken about yet.
They do have, sort of that area of the world, they are quite chiselled, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, like a high cheekbone, don't they?
They do. Very good workers. Very good workers.
Well, that's why I don't believe he only did 7. Yeah. It doesn't fit with the work ethic, does it?
Not at all.
So that's him. That's Nikolai
Dzhumagaliev.
Metal Fang. Who are we doing next?
We're doing Edmund Kemper next.
He's great. I think he's one of the ones who killed people the youngest. He was 15 when he killed.
His first murders were when he was 15.
Yeah, and he's got the highest IQ as well. He's got IQ of 140 something.
Well, I'll tell you what. Your dislike of the police. You are going to lose your shit on this one.
Yeah, I know he's bad for that. Also, he looks like comedian Colin Mumford, I think.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, of Appliances Online fame. So that is... Google him. That is Metal Fang. We hope you enjoyed it. I know people have been saying there's a bit of a delay. We could have tried to do it every month. Well, I know we said 2 weeks, but just mega busy. And it will get a bit easier when we're up in Edinburgh. Because we should have a bit of a backlog and we'll release... what we're going to do is we're going to release one of the live shows 1 month and then we'll do a recorded one with us and we're alternated. But we've got amazing guests.
Oh, some good ones coming
we've got Sophie Hager, we've got Carl Donnelly, we've got Chris Stokes, Michael J. Doland, Ed Gamble, loads of brilliant people. So please come and see us in Edinburgh live. This has been episode 14 of the All Killer No Filler podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks.